right, good morning, everybody. Today is Wednesday, October 1st, 2014. And this is Before the First Cup with Jules on UCY.TV. Good morning, everybody. How are you doing? Oh, my God, I'm dying. Yes, it is Wednesday, and my whole machine is crunching, and my brain is fried. How's that? And it's fall. It's October 1st, so 62 degrees here in upstate New York. First day of fall. Yeah, my computer's completely crunched. My brain is completely crunched. It's like I'm short circuiting. I don't know. Short circuits are not connecting the way they're supposed to right now. I know I've been doing some weird stuff now. And nothing will get to anywhere. I can't get to any news. Do. I did see huge protests going on in Hong Kong. And I heard AJ talking about Running Man last night. I was like, hey, you stole that from me. Oh, maybe it'll get there. Oh, I got sentences appearing. I got Bob Tuscan hair. Hey, I'm going to have to give Bob a thumbs up. And I'm going to have to say, I like the hair. It's the hair, Bob. I don't know what to do. So I hope everyone's doing well. I spent a long weekend stuck. It was like an episode of Big Brother, stuck in a small facility with a large number of people for 4 days. And then they turned the cameras on to see what would happen. And you know what? I think I cracked. I really did. It wasn't quite, I could not make it. No, I couldn't. And now that I'm out, I've actually been in recovery mode for the last couple days, and it's been very hard. Actually, my brain doesn't even feel like it's working properly after that experience. All right, let's see. I am gonna, maybe if my site will go there, maybe we can get to the news. Did you guys see? All right, so yes, Running Man talks about that a million times. I mean, a million times, literally, just about. But did you guys see? Now, I think my whole computer's dead. There was a case of Ebola that walked off a plane in Dallas, Texas. Now, who did not see that coming? In Dallas, Texas? Dallas, hugely populated city. Texas, hugely populated state. Stephen King's The Stand. Oh, I believe it started in Texas as the car ran out of control and hit the gas pump. Pretty sure that was Texas. I am not liking this one bit. Yeah, I'm going to see if I can add one day. You know, I can feel it right now. Between all the stuff that's been going on with the world, and then add to that, like, crap with my family, just having to deal with my family. Oh my God, I feel like I've been tortured for 6 months. Like, my brain doesn't work right because of it. Could you imagine, like, people who actually have to deal with real shit in the world? Could you imagine people, like, I mean, right now it's tax time, so I've had all this crazy shit going on, trying to get the bills together, trying to figure out what has to go where. I couldn't imagine having a 9 to 5 job as well. And I mean, we saw that beheading guy down in Oklahoma. I think we're going to start seeing people wig out like big time. I think right now is the time we're going to start seeing people go off the deep end. And here's the scary thing. I think it's something that they're doing to us because I got to tell you, I'm feeling pretty messed up today. And I don't think it's my fault. I've done nothing but sleep in every instance that I've had of quiet. I've closed my eyes and gone to sleep because I'm beat. I'm like totally, totally beat. But I don't think that it's my fault that I'm beat because I didn't do anything to be beat. Like if I was running around or cleaning or up all night or whatever, I'd be like, yeah, all right. But I haven't been at all. So it's got to make you wonder. Again, this is another one of those times where everything is ramped up to high gear. And now they're going to start doing stuff. So we got an Ebola case in Texas. Are you there, Wendy?
I'm here.
Good morning.
Hi, how are you?
I've been better, honestly. I honestly have not been feeling well, and I really hope this is like in the back of my mind and has been eating at me for 3 days. I really hope that I'm not feeling like this because I was exposed to some international form of Ebola.
It's either that or a freaking mosquito virus that's hitting, or that enteral virus that's attacking like the respiratory system.
Oh no, did you see it's now making them paralyzed?
Yeah, yeah. Wow. Do you think that mimics like vaccination like symptoms at all?
Well, I saw a story the other day that made some comment about, oh, it's just like polio. It's like,
Hmm.
oh, could it be the aerial polio that you're spraying over the populations up in the upper Midwest? I mean, that would be my guess.
Oh my God, my best friend right now is in the hospital with respiratory issues.
Oh, nice.
Hardcore respiratory issues.
I'm kind of feeling like that. Can you hear?
Yeah, and
It's
now
like I'm just like all my air passages are swollen. But you got to remember too, this right now is major allergy season because of that freaking goldenrod. That
oh
stuff and I are mortal, mortal enemies.
oh boy.
If there was some way I could take a blowtorch and burn all that shit, I would.
Wow, I've been feeling tired too. I um drank on an empty stomach on Saturday, but I
Yeah,
mean,
but
I
it's
had
Wednesday.
right, and I all day on Sunday I was just in bed, just sleeping. I slept literally for 24 hours,
That's
almost.
pretty much what I've done.
It's just terrible.
I
But
mean,
I'd
I
never,
don't even, I mean, I think the length of my drinking was I had one beer maybe on Friday.
yeah. Ooh,
And I feel like somebody kicked me. Like, I feel like I am trying to fight something off because all my body wants to do is sleep. Now, on the other hand, it is getting cooler. It
mm-hmm.
is, summer is officially over. We have reached the autumn solstice. So, is it our body saying it is hibernation time? Because that happens to me as well. But I have to tell you, my brain isn't even functioning properly.
Yeah.
Like it's in
Serious.
slow mo, like I'm on molasses.
Yeah. It could be just I don't know. They are. I think they are definitely messing with us. I think they're. I mean, they're getting our immune systems so that we can't combat this Ebola. I'm almost positive
Well,
of
I'm
it.
afraid of that. I really am. I mean, the
Me
way I'm
too.
feeling right now, if I was exposed to Ebola this weekend, I probably won't make it.
Right. I
Honestly,
mean,
I'm just so beaten down.
listen to these freaking just the headlines. Ebola hits Dallas. First diagnosis in the USA. Feds won't reveal the nationality of the person. Possible others are exposed. Feds may be unprepared for a pandemic. Internal government reports show airports have no way to screen for the virus. CDC
Well,
issues
hold on.
guidelines for funeral homes.
Oh yeah, guidelines for funeral homes.
Yeah.
Yay! Glad we're doing that. Well, here's a couple things. Like, didn't we talk about from day one, and we've been on this since March? Like, why the hell are they even allowing flights out of the countries that have
No,
Ebola?
I
First
know.
of all. Second of all, we got these airline screenings that are going on that are what? We take your temperature and have you answer a questionnaire to see whether you've been near any African countries. Third of all, you know what? I'm going to give Pigmine credit on this. He brought up a really, really, really good point. And after that PBS press release yesterday at 5:30 with the CDC head, I am going to say big fucking F on that as in a fail. Where the hell are the quarantine ships off the coast of the country?
Yes.
Why the fuck are we bringing these people to the United States? Now, it was one thing if it was an Ebola doctor and you're bringing him to the CDC or you're shipping him off to Kansas. But like Pigmine said, this is what? Now the fifth quarantine facility that we've had to build? What a waste of time, fucking money. And we're just bringing them in everywhere saying, hey, let's all get fucking sick. I mean, honestly, it really is like they want us to get this shit.
Oh,
and
absolutely.
I know they do.
And of course, they have to ship them to Dallas.
Yeah, let's send them to Dallas.
Where there's this wide open border maybe there, and all these tuberculosis things are streaming.
Well, right, the tuberculosis. And here's another thing. There was in the very beginning of all this, and especially with that RNAi technology that we looked at with the vaccinations, and we looked at there were 300 mutations per host that has been going on with this Ebola. So it sure as hell to me looks like it's been pre-manufactured.
Oh, yeah.
That these illnesses are targeted toward ethnic groups. Well, Dallas is a very, very black city. Well, it's been ravaging parts of Africa. So, hey, why not let it loose in Dallas? I mean, this is just so freaking nefarious that I can't even get over what my brain is trying to comprehend right now.
Right. Absolutely. I mean, this time next year, I don't even know if we're going to even be celebrating the fucking fall equinox. You know what I'm saying?
Well, last 2 years, I've been surprised that we've actually made it to celebrate 4th of July, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I'm thinking by this 4th of July, there's not going to be any 4th of July.
Now, did you guys hear Ron Paul? Ron Paul came on AG last night. I did pop him on for a little while last night because I haven't heard anything. I haven't listened to anything. I haven't watched anything. I am just so, brain dead right now. And I was happy I heard it, though, because Ron Paul is calling bullshit on all of it.
Yeah.
I was like, yes, he is still at it. I don't know what happened to him when he dropped out and all that weird shit happens. I think they threatened him. But you know what? He hasn't stopped.
No.
He has not stopped. And I love that little old guy.
That's great.
Well, that's the thing that I said when he was running for president. I'm like, what the hell? This is back 4 years ago. Everyone's like, you're such a defeatist. You're just such a, pessimist. But I was like, what the hell is one little old guy going to do against this global conglomerate of control freaks, okay, that are out to, assassinate all of us?
Right.
He's not. What is he going to do? He's going to end up dead. Whoops. Oh, look. The shooter got through security. Oh, look. I mean, I think that's what they're like right now. Obama, I think, is under threat for opening his mouth. It's like, oh, look at how huge this breach was in White House security. It's the worst ever.
Yeah, the dude's name was Gonzalez.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
They're like, yeah, this is wow, the White House breach was way worse than we thought. I was like, oh, They was like, Barry, keep your mouth shut or we'll make it even worse. Just as you walked out the door, this guy got into your chambers or whatever.
Yeah, he was. And I guess
well, he did. He hopped and he got into where the president was. He was heading that way.
And it was some guy that was off the clock that tackled him, too.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I heard that crap on the news last night. I'm like, oh, he was off the clock, was he? Oh, interesting.
Yeah. Well, so much for like somebody who at least gives a shit about their job, then, huh? Probably not too many of those left.
Yeah, exactly. And
You know what?
especially as
Oh, go ahead.
the Ebola starts creeping in everywhere.
Well, you know
Everybody.
what used to happen to me when I would do shit off the clock? And I mean, I always did shit off the clock because, hey, I was salary. They figured that out long ago.
Hmm.
Is I would get a, thank you fucking very much. And not even that. Nobody thanks you for doing shit off the clock.
Right.
That's why, I've been thinking a lot about this. Like, what motivates me to do what I do on a daily basis when there's not even a carrot dangling at the end of the stick anymore? At
Yeah.
least when there was a carrot dangling at the end of the stick, it was a big fat paycheck at the end of the week.
Right.
There's no big fat paycheck. There's just lots and lots and lots and lots of people who all want my time. And I don't have the time or the energy of their mental capacity to even deal with it.
Well, that's right. So maybe things need to start changing.
Well, what motivates me? What could possibly motivate me that would make me even go there? Especially with the technical issues and the crap I deal with on a daily basis.
Well, not only that, but it looks like we all need to start boosting our immune systems and trying to like get as positive in our brains as possible to fight off what's coming, what's obviously here, what's obviously going to spread.
Well, I think that the fighting off an immune system is a huge thing. And you just made me think. I saw Dinah pop onto Skype yesterday. So that means she must have gone to town and she must have gotten her monthly Skype connection. Maybe what I'm going to do, I'll have to message her because I've just been so busy. I've even been too busy. Heidi messaged me 4 days ago to tell me I haven't heard from her in 6 months that she's up in Washington. I'm like, no shit.
Wow.
Yeah, I sent her a message. I'm like, oh, where has my Heidi gone? That's all it said. And,
That's cute.
and then she messaged me 4 days ago. She went for a training. She took the training and they offered her a job. She's like, I don't even have a blanket. I don't have a jacket. I brought like 5 pieces of clothing, but I guess I'm moving here. I'm here.
Oh, wow.
So I need to message her too. But I saw Dinah come in the other day. And, I just totally miss Dinah because here's the one thing about Dinah. At least Dinah gave me hope. Like, Dinah made me feel empowered about things that I
Yeah.
had a way to battle some of the bullshit. Maybe what I should do is just catch up with Dinah and see maybe once a week if she can make it to town for an hour. And we'll talk for an hour and I'll just record it and we'll put the show on.
Hey, there you go.
Might be an idea instead of her just, having to figure out what she's going to talk about for an hour without there being anyone on the side.
Sure. It's a great idea. She's got wonderful, wonderful
Oh my God.
suggestions.
Every time I speak to Dinah, I come out just like with this whole sun shining on the horizon feeling.
And it would
She's
be
just
great.
one of those people.
It would be great to hear her perspective on Ebola and what people can do.
Oh, hell yeah, especially coming from South Africa.
Exactly.
Yeah, you know what? I will do that this afternoon. I'll hit her up. We also have a new show coming, and I am thinking that it is this Sunday, but I'm going to have to hit Aurora up today. If you're out there, Aurora, and you're hearing me, yes, I'm going to try to get to you today. I think I told her Monday, but it's just been, I've been trying to decompress from my weekend of 10 people all stuck in a house, and I know somebody must have been secretly recording like an episode of Big Brother to see what would happen.
Uh-oh.
With Jewel in a house with 4 children under the age of 9
That's funny.
and a mother and a father being henpecked to death.
Oh,
my
God.
God. Honestly, I think that did some major damage to me because I have not been right since I've gotten back.
Ouch.
I haven't, honestly. Like, my brain's been in short circuit mode. And it's already day number 3. I'm usually out of short circuit mode by now. So,
Wow. It's not good.
Oh, well, not for me, it isn't. Wildlife declines in half by 40 years. How come I can't copy paste this? Jesus.
Oh, I think that might be include like human wildlife too.
Well, here's the thing. We've been working now. For anyone who hasn't seen it, go to. Actually, I think I put them up on Pig My News now. So go to pigmynews.com and hit the tab that says Fukushima. Speaking of the extinction, Pigmine has taken all of the Fukushima videos from Pigmine 2, Pigmine 3, Pigmine 4, and Pigmine 5. So 4 channels over the last 4 years, and he sorted them all. Out of the 60,000 videos he has, first of all, he went and he found them all. He went through, he spent quite a number of nights going through that hard drive. Then he sorted them to upload them, but YouTube sucks at sorting. I don't know. We're finding all kinds of bugs in this new playlist tool that they have. So they were all kind of messed up date-wise. So now I've been working on sorting them all manually. I have about 75 more to go. So they're sorted in date order from March 11th, 2011 through whatever the most current stories are. But you want to talk about extinction? I'm going to tell you, back March 16th, March 18th, they already were talking about detecting radiation in the United States.
Right.
They found it in Washington. They found it in the milk. Then they came out and they found it in Vermont. Vermont. Get it? Like across the nation. Now, I found it in the first week. I went out to a French site where they were actually doing readings. Sorry, I get hiccups. I was drinking some water. They were doing readings on the French, and they might even still be out there. I think it's on my Fukushima Facts website. There's a French page out there for all of Europe. They're doing European readings. But on the French site, a week after the disaster happened, as Barry is in South America, just as that happens, what did he do? He launched airdrops on Libya, I believe, didn't he? He bombed the crap out of Gaddafi.
Gaddafi, yep.
And said, hey, guess what? I'm going to South America. Sorry, there's a nuclear reactor with triple meltdowns going on. Bye.
Uh-huh.
And he got his family out of the country. Right then and there.
That's right.
So there was no, and don't worry, it's not going to hit the mainland. That was his famous last words, and he left. And we should have known better right then and there. So,
absolutely.
So France comes out a week into the event, and they're like, hey, guess what? We've been picking it up in France. Now, I never believed Sarkozy. I hated that man. I just couldn't stand his worm lips and those little beady eyes. But I'll tell you what, France told the truth. They said, look, children and pregnant women, do not drink milk. Do not drink rainwater. Do not eat anything like strawberries that you cannot peel because they're all radioactive. Don't eat soft cheeses like cream cheese or anything that hasn't been stored for over a year. And so that's the rules that I followed, was what France told me.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? They were right.
That's right.
You start going through all these videos now, and I've been picking every couple days. I've been picking like a key one from 2011 and posting it. It's been getting hundreds of views. You know why? Because back then there were only probably 10 of us that were paying attention.
Right.
So, and from March, April, May, June 2011, there were like 10 of us paying attention. Me, Kevin, Miss Milky, Kevin, Rad Chick, there were just a few of us. That was it. Noki, that was it. That was all there was. And I saw it all happen. And my mother told me that I was a fucking freak and you know what? You're going to die anyway. And I'm like, are you kidding me? I got a little fucking kid.
That's the go-to thing. Oh, we're going to die anyway. It doesn't matter. I hate that attitude.
But you know, the thing is, when you got a kid, if it were just me, in all of this, if it were just me, 20 years ago, I was ready to ride my surfboard into a ground, crank up the tunes, freaking torch it up, man. I'm ready to go. That's it. I didn't have any qualms with any of it. I was good. I'd had a pretty colorful life. I've done lots of shit. I've been all over the world multiple times. I've done tons of shit.
It's awesome.
You know, I feel pretty satisfied as far as what I've done. But when you have a kid, that doesn't count anymore.
That's right.
Because here's the thing. When you're gone, who's going to take care of that kid? And it's your responsibility to make sure that that kid isn't poisoned and to make sure that that kid has some hope of the future. And if there's even the smallest little niblet that you might have been responsible for that's going to ruin that kid's future, then you better figure out what you're going to do to fix that.
Absolutely.
So that's where I'm at right now. I just can't believe that my mother has just been so head in the sand. I mean, I hear Dane now almost every week talk about exactly what we've been talking about, which is the, and if I can even remember what it's called, the normalcy bias.
Yeah, normalcy bias. Absolutely.
That's what she has. She is afflicted with normalcy bias.
Yeah.
It's too difficult to wrap her head around because it's too horrible to think about. And la, Jules, because you're fucking nuts. No, I'm telling you, I spent a whole weekend listening to the shit, and it just pissed me off beyond you don't even know. And I am just the crazy bad person again, except with my whole family there this time. Let's all stand around and point fingers and look fucking crazy.
That's really bad.
Oh, piss me off beyond you don't even know.
Yikes.
And here's the good news. I think my cousin and her husband totally get it.
Wow, really?
Totally get it. Yeah, she works for a relief organization that does international humanitarian efforts globally.
Mm-hmm.
So she sees the bullshit.
Yes, that's right.
They go in and clean up the mess with starving people full of disease afterward.
Jeez. Crazy.
I don't exactly know what he does, but he's a CEO for some humanitarian organization. And, man, the last hour before I blew out of there, we had a really good, hearty conversation, and he gets it. He absolutely gets it, except they live in a country where if you open your mouth, you go to prison.
Right. So how come they're going back to that country?
Well, because it's just like, why are we coming back here? Because it's what you know. Though I don't know. Who knows? They seem to have been enjoying themselves here. I just hope they're okay because they're traveling all over. And I was like, holy shit, if I would have been planning my trip for the last 4 years and I happen to launch it right in the middle of like Terror Disneyland and Ebola Central, I'd be like, oh shit, with my kids, no less.
Oh my gosh.
Under 9. 3 of them.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Now, mind you, I had been over there twice before I was 9. I actually had my 9th birthday over there.
Wow.
And it was way different in the 70s, guys, than it is now. But yeah, I'd be pretty freaking if I had my kid right now with me and I was overseas.
Yeah, absolutely. I wonder if Dinah's freaking out.
I don't think so. Dinah's in a very safe place. She's not anywhere near Ebola.
Not
or the
yet.
United States.
Right.
Wow, this computer is like syrup right now. So, you know what? Let me see if I kill Photoshop. I was working on, we got a site. I got to get with Nick today before I get into anything because I am getting ready to launch this activistlist.com. If you guys want to go check it out, I don't know. I put some dummy stuff up there, but it's not really dummy stuff. I think I'm going to start feeding a whole bunch of all of our websites into there. I got to maybe feed Brandon. I got something that Heather Callaghan works on. I got a couple of the sites that Nick works on. I got Pig Minds. I've been creating and keeping a protest playlist. We used to have a huge one on the Pig Mind 5 channel, but those are all gone. But I'm going to see if he maybe get some of those from the Ukraine and all that, and from the Arab Spring all back up.
Yeah.
But there's crazy shit in Hong Kong. Did you guys see that, man?
No,
Hong
what's going
Kong
on?
is pretty much shut down. They are demanding
Oh,
democracy.
yeah, that's right. There's giant freaking riots. That's
Yeah. And
right.
now my cousin that was here this last weekend, her older brother, Chris and his wife lived in Hong Kong for 20 years when it was under English rule. He loved it, loved it, loved it. He worked for one of the big European TV stations.
Hmm.
And when it went back to Chinese rule back, what, 5, 8 years ago, he
About,
went back
yeah.
to Australia. Everybody
Oh,
left. All the
really?
Europeans left. Yeah, they got out of there as fast as
I
they
would
could.
too.
But you got to remember, these people have been living like Europeans all these years, and now they're under communistic rule. And I mean hardline communistic rule, like Chinese communistic
Oh,
rule.
yeah.
So there's tear gas flying, but I saw a couple shots yesterday, hundreds of thousands, it appeared to me, laying in 6-lane wide expressways as far as the eye could see, laying in the road.
Wow.
Yeah, that's big news. That's absolutely huge. Do you see that on the nightly news?
No.
I know I haven't. Anyway, yeah, so
Interesting.
this page that we're launching here for Nick Barnaby, the anti-media people, is activistlist.com. I think that was one of his domains. We bought like 4 domains, I think, that are all going to point to that site. Paul built us a global event calendar that actually we had back in the days of Orion, but no one ever went to it. I tried to launch that way back, but we're going to try to create a central location for like March events around the world to publish your info for people to show up.
Cool.
We got news. I fed in that whole app that Paul built us for Pigmine site. We fed in for the protest videos. I actually found an entire playlist for all of last year's March Against Monsanto videos.
Oh, wow.
So one of the things we're going to do is like anyone that's at a March event, and this is one of the things I'm working on right now. I found a great app for my phone. And I think it was the Google Hangouts. There was a Google Hangout mobile app that allows you to record and push right to a YouTube playlist. So that would feed right into the website. So anyone who wanted to like be at an event globally and then feed it to this activist list site for like real time what's going on in an event, it'll feed into the slider and the big, playlist or whatever. So Paul's working on doing like an auto feed, so it'll start playing automatically, and we might even be able to air any of that stuff on air, like live. So
Wow.
I'm trying. Here's one of my other things. I'm working on getting a news feed coming, which I know I can get all that. We got all that automated all the way up to like playing on UCY. I just got to get a second feed, and we got to get people reporting from all over. And once that starts happening, man, we could have like live 24/7. Anyone who like clocks in and shoots it to YouTube, it's going to be broadcasting live, like real time live events wherever they are, like what's going on, news feeds.
Sweet.
Talking, report. So I'm psyched. I'm psyched. This has been over the last 2 days. I actually drew that up.
Wow.
And
So you've been busy despite feeling like crap.
oh, I'm busy 24/7. My brain, I got
Oh.
like 25 projects right now I'm working on for all kinds of other people that aren't UCY. But you know what? Here's the thing. It's all the same shit. That's my thing.
Right.
UCY is just radio shows. But I mean, that's what UCY is all about, man, is pulling people together and trying to show you all the fucked up shit that's going on. That's what it's about. To me, that's what this is all about. I bash my head against the wall with 99% of the people that I am friends with in my real life, and they still don't get it. Or they wake up for 5 minutes and then they go back to sleep and point their fingers and go, Jill, you're fucked up. You know what? I'm not tolerating this shit anymore, because I'm not. I am convinced I am not the fucked up one. My father, and you know what, Pops, if you're listening, you really pissed me off the other day, because he's like, Jill, don't you really think after all these years, when you look at it, and you're the only one out of all of us that are saying this stuff, and to me, your mother, your sister, you are the fucked up one. No, you guys play this psyop on me all the time. I am not the fucked up one. I'm the one who sees. You guys don't see. That's what the problem is. I am pretty certain of it. I've spent a lot of my personal brain power and energy trying to deduce if it's me or if it's everybody else. And it starts to make you feel like you're going a little bit crazy when you're like, wow, it can't just be everybody else out there and I'm the one that sees it. How is that possible? It's got to be me. No, it's not me. All those other people out there. I mean, granted, I don't listen to Alex Jones very rarely, if at all, but my friend does. And so when he says, hey, so and so's on Alex Jones, I listen. And every time I listen to Alex Jones, I'm like, holy shit, he must have been listening to my show.
Right.
He's talking about the same shit I am. Yeah. And you know what?
Yes.
No, AJ's a little off kilter, man. He's not wrong.
But how in the heck, really, honestly, and I experienced that too. Like, I'll be driving into work. Okay, I'll throw Alex on. So what? I want to hear who he's got, on air with him. And he says the exact words, word for word, practically, of what we were talking about, like an hour earlier.
Well, yeah, I've been told by a bunch of people that he does like literally listen to other shows. He's got people that listen to, and the fact that we're on the hour before him makes me go, that's interesting, but why in hell would he be listening to us?
But also, here's the thing though, Jules. We're all seeing the same thing all the way down the road, all the way down the line, and we're all speaking out about it. So we all can't be wrong.
Right.
You know what I mean? And when all this Ebola starts making our families sick, and then they impose martial law, and then they say you have to take the vaccines, they're all going to remember, wow, I think we heard Jules talking about that once.
Well, I'm going to tell you what, that is what we were discussing last night, is that the fact that this is now in the U.S., one of my friends was saying, it's going to stay isolated to Texas. And I said, you know what? I hope so. But I'm going to tell you what my thought is. No, it's not. And I'm going to tell you why. Because GlaxoSmithKline is in the middle of this huge, huge corruption lawsuit, okay? They just got bitch slapped big time in China, and I am sure that their stock is losing money. They have had this vaccine sitting in the pipeline waiting for human trials, okay? That was the next step on the list. Now, regardless if they said they're going to give it away for free or not, which I'll believe that when I see it, GlaxoSmithKline is lined up to be sitting pretty here in about a month. As they line everybody up and they say, holy fuck, it's a pandemic on the mainland, and you need to get your kid vaccinated.
Well, it will be mandatory.
It will,
and it will be the freaking vaccines in themselves that are going to make people sick and come down with the shit. That's what I
Well, I don't know about that in these new vaccines. I mean, some of this enterovirus stuff that we've been seeing now, all of a sudden there's paralysis and whatever. I had read some connection, and actually it might have just been a connection in my brain if you want to know the honest to God truth. But oh my God, this computer is like...
Actually, you know what?
Molasses.
I saw them talk about it on mainstream news, and they absolutely had to admit that, yes, vaccines could have had something to do with it.
Well, I'm going to mention Pigman again, because back about a month ago, he was pointing out that when all this enterovirus was starting, he says, did you notice it's right as school's starting and all the kids are getting their vaccinations to go back to school?
That's correct.
I was like, wow, no, I didn't even think about that, but you're absolutely right.
That's the first thing that came into my head.
Yeah, well, I didn't think about it. I thought about them all going back to school, and it's always a cesspool, right? Because every year, now this year, knock on wood, my kid only got a little sniffle, and that was it, and it was gone. We did Mommy's Superhuman Soup, and it was all organic vegetables out of my garden and my friend down the road. Between the two of us, we had just about every vegetable you could imagine, and I threw it all in. No chicken, but organic chicken broth. And I kept telling my daughter, this is Mommy's Superhuman Soup. Trust me, because it cures me every time. And it does. I mean, there's something about chicken soup that is just almost superhuman.
Jewish penicillin.
Maybe. I don't
Oh,
know. There's something
that's
in it. And I saw actually a couple scientific studies the one time. They really were trying to figure out what it is about superhuman. And it's not, I'm going to tell you, it's not even homemade. Like, if you're really sick, and regardless of what chemicals or preservatives or BPA is in there, get yourself a can of chicken with stars when you're sick. Have some chicken with stars and make yourself a sunny or maybe even just an over easy egg and some ginger tea. And tell me if you don't feel better. Because that's been my cure for many years. Every time I'm sick.
Yeah.
But superhuman mommy soup is beyond chicken with stars in a can.
Oh, heck yeah.
That's bullshit. And so within 3 days, every bit of sniffle, congestion, anything that she had was gone. Absolutely gone. And she even pointed out, she's like, wow, Mom, I'm all better. Your soup was great. I'm like, I know, I told you. It's Mommy's superhuman soup.
Well, that's boiling or simmering a whole roaster chicken all night long, just on simmer, and then the next day, that's when it's good.
Well, find yourself an organic one, though. That's the one.
Oh,
Like
absolutely.
all the crap that I've been reading about poultry and not only chicken, but turkey, where they load them up. Did you know to bulk up turkeys? They feed them, and I don't know if they inject them or they put it in their food. Arsenic.
Oh,
It
man.
bulks them up. And that gets into their like livers and it makes them get cancerous livers.
That's right.
So, we found already there were reports of the cows that they were just hacking off the heads of healthy cows and then giving them healthy cow heads to go, oh, look, this cow was healthy. But really, they were cancerous cows that we're eating.
Right.
It's disgusting. But yeah, superhuman soup. I just saw a story from RT now. Look at this is exactly what I was saying. Free speech clampdown. New Australian law sees journalists facing 10 years in prison. Just like the Japanese law.
Why in the hell would they do that in Australia? That's nuts.
What was that?
Why in the hell would they be doing that in Australia?
Well, because guess what? We're next. This new guy
Yeah.
that's in charge in Australia is just an absolute ass kisser of the United States. And I thought the chick before him was bad. Oh, no. Talking to my cousin's husband, this dude is way worse. Anything the United States says, he's right behind us, lockstep. He's going to do it. Yep, ass kiss. So, though we haven't locked down on journalism yet, I would say that we should keep our eyes peeled. And hey, the NDAA, doesn't it kind of cover that?
I'd say so.
National secrets.
Especially during times of emergency.
Like Ebola or terrorists.
Yes.
All right, I gotta close some of these windows and see if I can make stuff load faster because I am on molasses right now.
Especially when you start getting beheadings on our soil too. Oh,
Well, yeah. So that Oklahoma beheading, you see that? So now they're like, oh, well, he used to go to a mosque, and oh, he was Muslim, and oh, though I watched a story yesterday with the I don't even know what they call them. They're not priests. They're not evangelists. Whatever they are.
imams.
Who? Iman?
Imam, yeah.
Iman? Okay. So the Iman they interviewed in Oklahoma, and he's like, yeah, what I thought was odd is that he put his, and what do they call them? They're not Bibles. They're
Quran.
Quran, yeah. He would put the Quran on the floor, which is absolutely prohibited. So who knows who this guy was?
Oh, see, bingo. That was really good looking at that, Jules. That was good deduction.
That made me go, huh? So who is this dude then? If he's putting the book on the floor, I mean, he must not be some devout then Muslim.
Perhaps you're some FBI informant?
Or some
Hmm.
dude they let out of a mental hospital and then gave him some normal drugs and said, "Here, we're going to give you a job and a knife."
Yeah, exactly.
You
Yeah.
know, who beheads people at their workplace? Come on. And this is just after 25 videos talking about lone wolves of ISIS going to be here in the United States.
Exactly. Especially a workplace where everybody's like armed with a giant knife because
Or
it's
a
a
letter opener.
yeah. Hello.
You
I don't
know,
know.
I mean, we've had workplace shootings in the past. There was just one at UPS a couple days ago, I believe.
Oh
And
wow.
I mean, there's been a few over the last probably 20 years that I remember. And I
Yeah.
remember thinking, oh, actually, years back when I was a tech, we had this one guy. Oh, God, I don't even remember his name. But he was a little out there, really isolated type of dude that would like mumble to himself type thing, you know? And we used to worry. Craig, that was his name, and he would a couple times he got pretty agitated over some dumb things that we were all like, "Wow, Craig, like chill out, dude." But we were techs and we were on a call queue. You know, I worked in tech support for a couple years way back in the beginning, and we were always afraid that Craig was going to be one of those guys that came in with his backpack with a rifle in it and like just,
Jeez.
you know, start hitting all the cubicles. Craig never flipped out, but you know, I mean, like I said, there have been workplace shootings. We paid attention to them because we knew a few that we thought might be hair triggery,
Hair
crazy.
triggery.
But this dude, like beheading, come on, what? Beheading in the workplace with a dull Boy Scout knife. Oh, look, just like the ISIS videos.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's interesting.
that's a little far fetched.
Yeah.
And that nobody would like fight back. I mean, I said that. I said that like I think on Monday that, this person who he beheaded, like did he bind their hands and feet and then do it? Or did he just nab them like from behind and then do it? You know what I mean? It's all fuzzy.
Yeah, how did he accomplish that?
I mean, you have to have superhuman strength to even have a big, big, giant knife to go through, you know, somebody's neck muscles and all that crap. I mean, you gotta be really strong.
Well, I
Um,
mean, honestly, I wouldn't know how difficult it was, but I've heard that it's pretty difficult. And with a dull knife, I mean, try cutting a steak with a butter knife. I guess that would be a
exactly.
good illustration.
Yeah,
Doesn't
absolutely.
work too well.
No. And
And
you got
that's,
bones and stuff in the neck. I mean, come on.
I don't know.
It's true though. I mean, I don't know. It just the whole thing just seemed, and then the woman himself. I mean, why aren't you gonna fight back? I mean, stomp on the guy's toe, bite the dude in the arm. I don't care. Bite his finger off. Whatever you gotta do to get away. I don't know. You just
Elbow
gonna
him in the groin.
anything.
Hit him with a file folder.
Claw his eyes out. Grab his throat. I don't care what you gotta do.
Draw blood for sure.
And then he had some other woman that he was
She
ready
got
to do it
stabbed
to.
then.
Jeez. I don't know, man. Just it just doesn't make sense to me. The whole story doesn't make sense to
Does
me.
not compute.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, if I just closed a whole shit ton of stuff, so we're gonna see if I can actually get to some videos. Hey, just on a side note, I see this article on Sunday, and it was right after I drove home. And I got to tell you, while I was driving, I took all these pictures of the sky because I was like, wow, those are some whacked out clouds. I've never seen anything like that before. It looks like there was a wicked, wicked storm that was brewing. And I don't know, I'd never seen it. It looked like the water, it looked like waves of just storm waves. And don't I come home and I see out of one of my science pubs, sciencealert.com.au, it's an Australian one. It says turbulent like sea formation could be the first new cloud type in 50 years.
What?
Yeah, just out of the blue, this new cloud type appears. And the reason why I was taking pictures, and I must have like 30 pictures, is that I've never seen anything like that before. So out of the blue, we have a new cloud type that just appears. That's great.
bizarre. That's highly suspect right there. What the hell does that mean? Like, what are they doing up there
I don't
anyway?
know, you humans. You humans responsible for global warming.
Ah,
I heard something on Weather Channel yesterday, and they were having that big debate again about, whether or not humans are responsible for global warming. And I'm like, look, regardless of this global warming or global cooling or whatever, there's definitely something going on. But don't fucking blame me for it. Blame these corporations that were loading CFCs into every refrigeration unit that came off the assembly line for 50 years.
yeah.
You know what I mean? It wasn't me. That's what they put out into the market, and that's what everybody used. Why is it my fault now?
Well, because you're part of the global human population, and there's too many people, and we just need to reduce the population.
How about all these corporations that did it, that who all made a buck on it to ruin the atmosphere and put the big holes in the ozone layer that then made our atmosphere all fucked up, and then blame me for it?
Right,
I
that's
don't
what I
think between
say.
now and then I probably own 2 refrigerators tops.
I say global corporation reduction. That's what I say.
That's what I say too. Why is it my fault? Just like all these wars. Hey, I didn't authorize you to spend my tax dollars on killing women and children in the Middle East.
Yeah,
Why is it my
Raytheon,
fault?
Dying Core, freaking. Ugh, I could go on and on.
It's not my fault, but you try to make me feel like it's my fault. You know what? I fully take the blame for anything that I did wrong, but I'm pretty careful to cross my T's and dot my I's. And before I step, I pay attention to what the hell I'm doing. Because guess what? There's always a step right or a step left. And depending on which way you go, that sends you down a new path. So I always try to be careful where I step. So now we end up in Disasterville that I've been squawking about for 20 freaking years. Because guess what? I was a greenie in the 80s. And now you're blaming it on me. And you, and you, and you, and you, and you, and you, and you.
That's right.
But why is it my fault? That just, to me, that makes no sense whatsoever. It should be the corporations that did all this. Hey, they could have come up with something that was environment friendly back in 1972. Hey, we had solar power. We didn't have to use oil now, did we? As 3 Mile Island burned down, melted
Well,
down.
you know how they reward them for all this crap? They award them tax-free exemption.
Right. That's what they do right now. Hey, GE, pay no freaking taxes.
Right.
Actually, I got to get to the behind the curtain feed because there were a couple things. I haven't done a show since last, who knows what day, Wednesday. No, Thursday. So there's been a shitload of stuff.
Oh,
There
yeah.
was something about Wall Street and them being all afraid of Wall Street. So the politicians won't even speak out. I got to find that. And there was a bunch about the beheadings. I need to start posting to that shit that pisses me off page is what I got to do.
I guess they've got another guy from the UK all lined up and ready to be beheaded now.
Oh, yay! Notice how many people paid attention to the last one. It was from France.
Yeah, exactly.
None. Zero. You know what, guys? You already lost all the ratings.
Well, it's just interesting how it's the United States and the UK and France that's targeted.
Well,
And
it's all the countries that they're trying to suck into the incursion.
that's correct.
Oh, yeah, well, we'll cut another head off. Now you have to get involved.
That's right.
What kind of a country are you if you don't? Oh, one thing I see. So just as a heads up, Tuesday nights at 8 p.m., we used to have the Continua Condition with Jonathan and Steven, the boys from New York City, running 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. Jonathan got a new job. Yay. Congratulations, Jonathan. So Tuesday nights no longer works for them. So we have now bounced them over to the 8 p.m. Wednesday night slot. So that is tonight after Josh. And in that slot, I had Dane Wigington's rebroad from Saturday's, whatever his live show was Saturday. His show's so great. I love Dane's show. So I rerun Dane's show because some people can't listen on the weekends. That was running Wednesday night at 8. I now put that into Jonathan and Steven's slot. So it is Tuesday night at 8 now.
That's a good segue into the G. Michael Hoff show.
I think so. Actually, it worked really well yesterday. So we had Chuck on 6 to 8. Then we had Geoengineering Watch rebroad 8 to 9. We had G. Michael Hoff 9 to 10, primer time 10 to 11, and then Prepper Chicks After Dark 11 to 12. So that was a pretty nice night. Yeah, it was good.
That's awesome.
Here's one I want to play if we could do this. This is one that actually I'd run across 3 or 4 different times while I was working on playlists yesterday. There's so many playlists that I've been trying to get together. And like I said, YouTube is not doing very well with the auto playlist. Like even if you, I don't have a player playing. Even if you set keywords that you want it to search for in your titles, it doesn't most of the time. So you got to go through your 55 playlists then that you created thinking that YouTube was going to, scan for words and add them. And you have to manually update them on a nightly basis.
Yikes.
So much for freeing up time as I add 32 more things to look at. All right, here we go. Let me see if I can connect. Hey, I connected and there wasn't anything playing in the background. All right, so check this one out. You had to imagine this one was coming. You had the underwear bomber, you had the shoe bomber now. Oh, and the toothpaste bomber. Hold on.
Toothpaste bomber.
And there's this new, high-powered Al-Qaeda group that's master bomb makers. Well, here we go.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. No ordinary explosion, a clothing bomb. So that is a T-shirt dipped in explosives that is just blown and dried, blown up, and that would bring down a plane. Explosives expert Sidney Alford made it.
It blew a nasty dent.
That was flat before.
Yeah.
And that's much thicker than a plane. And
Oh,
the plane's
yes.
aluminium.
Yes,
so
sir.
it would blow through aluminium.
Yes, certainly would. Yeah.
He's showing me bomb-making technology security experts say Al-Qaeda plans to use and that current security screening would have trouble detecting.
A bomb of the size that I showed you, containing an explosive in that sort of quantity, going off with approximately that violence, would certainly do a great deal of harm to the fuselage.
This is where the T-shirt bomb was sitting on this steel plate, thick steel plate. Imagine if that was the skin of an aircraft, thin aluminium, would have blown a hole right through it. For years, Al-Qaeda's top bomb maker, Ibrahim al-Asiri, has been aspiring to this, blow up a plane. He's made several sophisticated devices, including the underpants bomb, targeting a plane landing in Detroit Christmas Day 2009.
He was the underpants bomber, or underwear. This is an English one, underpants. That's like kitty cat versus pussycat. So what does this mean? Now that we're ramping up TSA security, any hot chick with big tits, take off your shirt.
I was just thinking that. I'm like, okay. This is setting the precedence for all of that.
Now we don't need the see-through scanners. We can
Make
just
you
make 'em
disrobe
take off
right
their
there.
shirt. Woo!
Just disrobe and turn around a few times, honey.
Yep, and bend over. I'm going to get a cleavage shot. All right.
Yeah.
Send home to mom. All right,
That's
here we go.
right.
American sources fear a clothing bomb is Al-Qaeda's next logical evolution.
Yes, I would not be at all surprised if someone started boasting they travelled to, let us think of a country, the United States, from Europe, wearing something like what I'm just preparing.
Alford shows us a little of how it might be done, leaving out some key details. How easy is it for an Al-Qaeda bomb maker to do what you're doing here in your lab?
Well, if he has done a bit of chemistry, it shall be very easy.
Within an hour, we test the impregnated T-shirt material.
Yeah.
And that is, or could be, a T-shirt somebody wore on a plane.
Yes, indeed, except a T-shirt make rather large about.
Not just explosive, but a fire hazard too.
Oh. I don't know if I'd want to be like torching a smoke with that T-shirt on.
What's the deal with this dirty old perv anyway?
I don't know. I'll have to drop this. I'm logged in with Skype right now, so if I launch the website, it's going to start playing over air. But as soon as it's over, I'll drop this in chat. This dude looks like some old mad scientist. He's got like, hair
dirty old
sticking out.
pervert.
Yeah. So all right, hold on.
Hey, hard to put out.
You would not be able to get to him in time to put it out.
Back in the quarry, another test.
Just going to check something. 4, 3, 2, 1.
Shrapnel rips rock from the walls. We take a look. See, it's impacted here, didn't it?
Oh, it was here, that's right.
Here. Alford, as ever, understated.
It's not a nice thing to happen in an airplane, mind you.
Nick Robertson, CNN, a quarry in the English countryside.
You know, he looks like Dr. Venture with white hair. For anyone who knows the Venture brothers.
Oh my god, that is just so contrived.
All right, here, let me see if I can get to our page.
Unbelievable. These
I
people
didn't even post for the show today. I was so discombobulated.
Oh,
I think I'm almost waking up.
that's good.
I don't know what's I mean, my
That
allergies.
guy sounded like a dirty perv.
I don't know if he's a dirty perv, but he absolutely, he's like a master bomb maker. They all got to be a little crazy.
Yeah, he's trying to disrobe little boys with his eyes.
I don't know. I'll tell you, last night on my cell phone, the word ISIS came through. And the second the word ISIS came through, my whole phone locked up. Internet stopped. I couldn't even get a browser to launch.
Yikes.
Chat froze. Yeah, that was the word ISIS. As soon as it came through and I tried to respond, my response is just sitting there or wouldn't go through. And I was like, what the hell? And then I see 3G's not working. I'm like, what the hell? So I open a browser. No browser would load.
Oh my god.
I had to physically pull the battery out. But yeah, it was those 4 letters, ISIS.
Oh, jeez. Oh my god.
Oh, terror, 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 terror. I hate
The terror
these
comes
people.
from them. It's our government that's funding them and giving them all the weapons. So
Well, it is. This is all just so fabricated. It's
it
disgusting.
is.
But I'm crazy. Wahahaha.
You're the one that's sane, and everybody else is the one that's lost their brains. And I'm here to tell you.
Jewel, this is my dad too. Jewel, you know what? Life's too short, man. You go worrying about all this shit all the time, and then your life's gonna be over. So just like enjoy it and forget about it all. Yeah, you know what, Pops? That's what's wrong with the world. That's why we're in such deep shit right now. Because everyone is a narcissistic fuckhead.
But we've been allowing this to go on and on and on and on.
All everyone worries about is themselves and what more they're going to buy themselves and what thing they're going to get next, not what's really going on.
Right.
That's the problem.
It's true.
And you know what? I spent 25 years working my ass off, chasing that dangling carrot, always reaching for the carrot. That's the distraction, people. Get it? When you get out the other side, when you come out that other side, and now you don't have a dangling carrot for anything, and you're trying to like figure out why you do what you do. Why do you feel the way you feel? I've spent a lot of time over the last few years trying to figure those things out. Like, really, take a paperclip and really start picking my own brain. I like picking other people's brains, but how often do you really dig in and start, like, making wounds, digging your own brain, trying to understand yourself?
Absolutely. Nobody
I'm
has
a
time.
psychology experiment right now. That's what's going on here.
No one does self-introspection anymore.
Well,
You know,
no, not too often. When I used to write, I had journals galore. I had mountains of journals. I really want to find those. I know they're buried in my crawl space somewhere from 25 years back when I was still in school and I was getting my English degree. And I just was free flowing, shit was just coming out on paper because I had no one to talk to back then. Maybe Heidi, but I didn't really have an outlet. And back in those days, I don't think Heidi got all this stuff. I wasn't talking about this stuff. I was more into like X-Files stuff, but still, you know what? I still think there's a conspiracy there.
well, hell
And
yeah, a lot of that
FBI,
X-Files
CIA.
stuff.
I mean, it gets way bigger than just freaking UFO, which who knows? Could have been, but I bet a lot of it was surveillance shit. I bet a lot of it was like old school drone technology.
A lot of that X-Files stuff has come true anyway.
Yeah, it has. But it was way beyond that. I always had the belief that it was just in the United States. That was like my absolute naivete, was thinking that the conspiracy, and it is a conspiracy, only was happening in the United States. Like how naive was that to think that?
Yeah.
That it was just our alphabet agencies.
No.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, the more I learn, the more pissed off I get, to be honest. All right, yeah, here. There's a bunch of different things we're going to talk about here because now I'm just getting into the stuff I posted yesterday. There's like a whole 5 days worth of stuff. Let's see if there's a story. This is about this. I bet you if I went to Pigmine's page, there's probably tons of it about the. Oh, yeah, a California mayor was shot and killed. Did you see that shit?
No.
Yeah,
What?
I caught this early hours of this morning, so let's check that out just because I'm here right now. I thought Zori would appreciate to some extent. I mean, she would probably at least know who the mayor was or who the town was because
Wow.
to me, I'm on the other side of the country, so California is California, whether it's north, east, west, south, it doesn't
Yeah.
really. His wife has been detained.
Whoa! Stan Monteith died too.
I saw that. Yeah, actually, I tried to get some of his archives. And, because when someone dies like that, archives tend to disappear.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
So, yeah, I got to figure out who I can ask for permission for that. I'm hoping maybe his family somewhere.
The other side of the country, so
Hold on.
whether it's
We're
northeast,
playing on the.
Yeah.
I love hearing our souls talk. All right, kill it. Kill.
I read about James Trafficant dying too.
Yes, actually, there were a bunch of videos on that, and I gotta say, just the way. Now I could have swore, and JJ says I'm wrong, so maybe I was just having some sort of precog dream and didn't realize it, but I could have swore about 2 weeks ago. JJ told me that, and maybe it was somebody else, that his friend's husband died, and he had been at Freedom Palooza multiple
Edgar
times.
Steele. It was Edgar Steele. It was
Oh,
He
because
died.
I
He was
thought
murdered.
it was trafficking, because trafficking had
No.
been at Freedom Palooza as well.
Right.
That's
So
2 for 2.
yes. Yeah. Well, actually, Edgar Steele died while in prison. They murdered him.
And that's what I said to him. I thought he was in jail when he died, but this says
Yes.
he died in a tractor accident. And he's like, yeah, he did. So JJ must have missed exact. See, now all right. So it wasn't a precog dream. It
Yeah.
was a different, but they both had been at Freedom Palooza. I knew Trafficking had been there because I had done the guest list on the website.
Oh yeah, Trafficant was at every Freedom Palooza there has been.
Yes. So he passed away. But if you listen to the news reports on that, the way they said it, and his tractor turned over and blah, maybe, he was in his 70s, so maybe. But
Well-
it was just kind of, it struck me, I've talked many times about when you listen to mainstream news, and there's always that one little thing that it's as it's whizzing by, you go, huh? and then you forget about it, right? Because there's so many other distractions. Well, that was one of those moments when I went, huh? Because I have lots of friends with tractors, guys. Tractors just don't easily flip over.
Well, here's the thing, and I had it
Unless-
explained to me yesterday.
Okay.
I had it explained to me when you have the tractors with the two front thinner tires and the big back wheels, which is probably the kind he had. When you pop the clutch on those suckers, they can take off on you sometimes. And if you have like obstructions like in the
like
barn
a
or whatever,
Bronco.
and then they can literally flip backwards over on top of the farmer.
Okay.
And it happens. It happens.
Okay. Yeah, it can. I guess that's almost like those old school 3-wheeler ATVs. I had that happen to me once.
Yeah.
Almost snapped my neck when I was like 15.
That's what happens. Yeah. So it's
Someone in chat was saying he was in stable condition and then all of a sudden he died. Though, again, he was in his 70s, so there could have been pre-existing conditions that we didn't know about. All I want to say, and just mark my words for future at some point, that was one of those instances when I was listening to the news reports that I've talked about, not trafficking in particular, but I've talked about this, like decoding the mainstream news, that as soon as it came out of her mouth, I was like, huh? Struck me as like a red dot to put on the bulletin board as oddball-y. But yeah, and like Java said, the clutch cable breaks. I mean, there are definitely things that could happen on a tractor. And tractors aren't toys, you know? Just like ATVs aren't toys. Didn't that Olympian just like break her spine forever? She's like paralyzed. She was going to try and get that surgery. And I mean, out of anyone, versus me riding an ATV, I would think that I would have a bigger chance of doing that than an Olympian who's like got probably core muscles like steel.
Sure.
That's what it takes to ride those things. You know, the stronger the core muscles, the better the balance you have. So you could be doing like 90-degree freaking embankments. Easy.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. So. All right. I'm ing. Wait, let me find the story now. Anyway, I lost what I was doing.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. We were going to talk about the wrong page. That's why. The California mayor that was shot by his wife. That's what it was. All right, let's get back here because I had not heard about this until early hours of this morning. That's the loading noise. Wow, this video got 3 likes. That's kind of amusing. Here it comes. Come on. I've closed like almost every window. Here it comes.
Well, this is a 6600 block of Gage out here in Bell Gardens, a condo complex. What you're looking at right there is a large amount of officers and detectives from Bell Gardens.
Stop. From Bell Gardens, California. And did you catch anything about the first 12 seconds of that video in the background noise or the way that this reporter was talking? Without even seeing the video, could you tell how this video was shot? Did you hear it? Wendy. All right. She did. I'm going to back this up, and I'm going to play it again because I talked about this about a week ago, something that they are now teaching in journalism school. Just listen to what you're hearing as this reporter is talking.
Well, this is a 6600 block of Gage out here in Bell Gardens, a condo complex. What you're looking at right there is a large amount of officers and detectives from Bell Gardens PD and also the Sheriff's Department now sending detectives as well, working on this shooting that happened this afternoon of the mayor of Bell Gardens, Daniel Cespro. So you can see the large amount of officers here, the large crime scene tape. Also, we believe that the shooting happened in this area right there. That's the area.
It's all being done aerially.
Oh, yeah.
Do you hear the high-pitched in the background? It's a drone, guys. They got a drone, and he is zooming in and out of the crime scene from up above.
It kind of sounds like a newscopter to me.
You think so?
Yeah, I mean that's what like
Well, let me
that's what
watch. Let me watch the footage as this is playing and see how. I think it looks pretty stationary to me. We were talking the other day during the Boston bombing. I'm pretty sure that they were using a drone because what I noticed when I was watching it live, because they were streaming it live, right when they were hunting for the kids,
Mhm.
that the aerial footage was not moving. Like a helicopter would have to be circling, correct? They can't just be sitting in one area for an hour filming
Right.
down, can they?
No, I think helicopters can hover, right?
Well, they might be able to hover, but not like that.
Right, and that,
I
but they
think they'd
have
have to
the.
move.
I think that most newscopters have like the 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 camera on the front of the copter that can move like a gyroscope kind of thing. I mean, I don't know. I'm
I
pretty
don't know.
sure that's what
I don't think I've ever ridden in a copter. They scare the living shit out of me.
I have.
We had a newscopter go down when I was a kid, right in Buffalo, and one of the well-known like morning radio personalities from AM radio that it was back probably in the 70s or the 80s that we all listened to in the morning was in doing his newscast. The traffic. He was doing a traffic, his morning traffic report, and
Oh,
the
wow.
copter went down and they all died. Yeah.
Oh my
So
god.
that really kind of traumatized me as a kid because I mean it was somebody that though we didn't know him personally, it was someone we all identified with, and it ends up that his kids were friends with like my next door neighbor's cousin or something, so there was like a seven what do they call it, 7 degrees of separation to Kevin Bacon type thing going on.
Right.
Yeah, but all right. Well, here, let me play the rest of this. So this is the mayor of Bell Gardens, California. Let me just watch it and listen again as I see this, and I'll drop this in chat when we're done.
That most detectives have been walking in and out of.
And now, of course, they don't talk as I come back. This is looking pretty damn stationary to me. Just the camera zooming around.
Well, I mean, newscopters sound like that, honestly.
Well, do you know that quad rotors don't? Like, why would you pay all that money and have to pay a pilot and everything if you could get a quad rotor for $100 with an HD camera?
Well, that's true. However, I watch enough local news, and they really do sound just like that. Now, a drone would be like the sound like a like a you know what I mean, like a humming noise, not like that noise that you're hearing.
Yeah, I don't know. They definitely were in the air, though. And the mayor of California, but it didn't say anything about his wife, did it?
No,
No, that was in the notes, by the way. That was
I
in the
tried
notes.
really hard to try and identify flying aircraft just by sound, just so that I know what the hell's coming. And drones have this little sound to it.
There was a shooting in a Louisville, Kentucky school now.
Oh, great.
Oh,
Just
this
just
is all
now?
this morning's news. Well, from a
Oh,
few
my
hours ago. I didn't get to
God.
see any of this morning. Hold on.
And
Jeez. Yeah, here they come, guys. Really, I mean, how much more can you ramp it up? And, I wonder, is my short-circuiting feeling brain because of having to spend 3 days in a house with 10 people and 4 children under the age of 9, or is my short-circuiting that on top of being completely oversaturated? Because don't think I didn't try to keep up on all this. I mean, I still every day have to log in and share news and, watch stories and cut programs and whatever. So it's not like I'm not keeping up, but I really feel like I am at the brim. Like I need to dump some.
at the saturation point.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, something. I got to get rid of some of it. By the way, Oktoberfest is this weekend.
Oh,
Friday, I'm out of here again. So any hosts out there listening to me, get me your shows as soon as possible.
good for you. Yeah, you need to go and have a good time. I mean,
Yeah, actually, this is one of the fun parties of the year with the guys that we hang out with. So I'm hoping this will be a good time. I'll probably bring some of my own brew, but it'll be like a big gathering of all the people from the woods come out to play, burn a fire, and lots of good food.
hell
Actually, I
yeah.
should make some lazy pierogi or something. It's usually lots of
Ooh.
sauerkraut and noodles and sausages and whatever,
Nice.
beer. Don't eat sausage when you're drinking beer. I learned that one. The noodles are great, and the pierogies and stuff like that. They soak up the alcohol, but the sausage, it's like the grease floats on top of the alcohol, and it just does not work for me. You start to feel yucky, and then you feel like you need to go take a nap.
Ew. Oh, and you go straight to the hangover.
Yeah, well, that's happened a few times. We've ended up back at my place sleeping like on the couch, and there was lots more hours to go. But I think this weekend here too, I saw like high in the 50s and rain for the whole weekend. So
Yeah, it's gonna be crappy
yeah,
here.
that's
too.
going to be a lot worse. So that means everyone's going to be hiding in the garage, trying not to get wet and freezing their asses off. So you got to drink more beer. And if you're standing by the fire, you're going to get wet. So that's going to suck. Not sure what we're going to do about that one.
Oh my god, it's interesting. We've got a stinking Michigan game, I guess, on Sunday, and one of the CrossFit gyms that I'm involved in is going to have like a CrossFit workout before a pig roast before the game. So I don't know if I'm going to attend that or not.
You're crossfitting before the workout?
Well, no, it's a CrossFit workout and then a pig roast and then the Michigan game.
So, well, you know what? It's actually better you do the CrossFit workout before the pig roast rather
That's
than
right.
the CrossFit workout after the pig roast.
Right, that's
If
what
you've ever tried to do that before.
right. That's exactly what they're doing. So I'm not sure if I'm going. Probably should. It sounds like it's going to be fun.
Oh, you should go.
Oh.
Yeah.
You know what? This time of year, let me kill this guy for a second. This time of year, though, it's depressing at times because everything's dying, of course. And I really hate that because then you really start to think about like the cycle of life and how it even goes beyond like just the planet Earth. I mean, there's this cycle of life, birth, life, death, and rebirth that happens everywhere. You know, it's a law of nature. And but it depresses me, even though I know things will be reborn because we're on the same treadmill at some point. And though your atoms might come back, and I don't know, even your energy might come back, I'm sure that you don't have full cognition of what was before. So that kind of sucks. But when I reach this time of year, though, it's almost like that energy, that death energy gives you, I don't know what it is, but I feel like give it another month or so once all the leaves are off and that crispness is out there and you can feel it. I definitely feel it. I get really like mentally charged up.
Yeah. It's kind of cool, you know?
I love fall. I really
Me
do.
too.
So you should go to the party because there's lots of good people energy that happens during that time. And especially if you can find a full moon. And that is no lie. You know, one of the things we were talking about this weekend was, you know, my grandmother owned a bar for 40 years. And so I always knew about the full moons and people getting freaky because it always happens Friday night doing a fish fry. And it happened to coincide with a full moon. There was always crazy shit. Always.
That's funny.
And it never failed for all those years. So my aunt was talking about when she and my mother were kids and they had their chicken coop. And apparently, every time there was a full moon, their two roosters, which were the best of friends 99.99% of the time, always had a knockdown, drag out, poke out an eye, rip off a wing fight on the full moon.
Wow.
For years. Yeah. Now, how bizarro is that?
It really is.
They always expected there was going to be blood the next morning after a full moon. I just thought it was kind of weird.
That's pretty amazing.
I mean, if you look into the fact that we are like mostly water, and that tides are very affected by the gravitational pull of the moon. It
Right.
kind of makes sense. Who knows what it does to your brain, but it does something.
Absolutely does. I mean, I know that prisons and stuff get double locked down during full moon.
Yes, in jails. Actually, I heard about that from one of my friends who's a retired prison guard.
Yeah.
They have crazy shit that happens during a full moon.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I had a prison guard tell me that too.
Speaking of prison guards, here, let's watch this one from the school. It's Fern Creek, Kentucky. And guess what? I guess the shooter must not be dead. How's that possible? You know what? The shooter, the stabber, the beheader, is not dead either in Oklahoma. Is that not weird? Don't you think somebody would have like pulled out a weapon and killed the guy, or fucking hit him in the head with a filing cabinet?
I guess the CEO or whatever who had the weapon
Shot him.
Just wounded him.
Yeah. So that's kind of weird. All right, here. This is Kentucky. School is cleared and secured after shooting from yesterday.
Right now on the shooting, and if there is a suspect in custody.
Just a few minutes ago, our officers apprehended the suspect that was involved in the shooting. The school has been cleared and secured. Given the all clear, we ask parents to continue to be patient as they're trying to reunite with their children. It's going to take some time to be able to get them from that location. But at this time, again, our officers were able to apprehend the suspect.
Was there any resistance put up by the suspect?
It's my understanding. Well, I don't know. I have the full details on how the arrest transpired, but I do know. Again, it was he's a juvenile, and that's all the details I have on who.
A weapon?
I don't have that information.
Are you able to say where he was arrested at?
No, I don't have that information.
Can you say if it was at his home or if it was?
I don't. All I know is that he was apprehended. So again, the shooter in this situation has been apprehended. He is in our custody, and that's all the information
Bill,
I have right
can
now.
you tell us just how many police units would have been involved in something like this?
I don't have a specific number. Of course, when there's at least a high alert like this, the entire department has trained multiple times on how to respond to a possible shooting in a school. I think that our officers did a fantastic job of being able to secure the school and be able to search that very quickly as best they could, and be able to get all the students out safely.
Can you tell us? We're hearing some rumblings that the victim may not have been the target of this shooting; that they were actually going after somebody else.
Again, it would be too early in the investigation to determine anything, whether it's a motive or what the relation is to the two involved. But again, I can at least say that it is secure at this point, and we're thankful that the victim's injuries are not life-threatening and that the suspect has been apprehended.
Huh.
So
So
did
it was
anybody
a
die?
juvenile. I guess not. It says that their injuries were not fatal and that they've been the shooter has been apprehended.
So that could be like a truly like organic, like non-staged event. You know what I mean? Usually when like the shooter doesn't die, usually that's like a honest to goodness, like event that happened.
Very possible, and you know what?
know?
You are very right. That's one of the things. That was another one of those moments that makes you go, "Huh?" That he didn't die, because if they
Right.
die, or if they have like a tragic throat accident, like what happened with the Sarnev brother,
Yeah.
you pretty much figure that they're not trying to hide anything necessarily.
Right.
Huh. Well, could
And
be.
usually a high death toll goes along with the dead shooter as
Mhm.
well.
You're absolutely right. And if there was no one dead and the shooter is alive, then it does not fit their agenda for gun control.
Exactly. Bing, 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 bing.
So, don't discount that it's not going to end up on the list of the 22 other, I don't know how many there are. I saw a map one time that said there were like 80 shootings in the last year in schools. I'm like, how is that freaking possible? I have watched every single shooting in the last 2.5 years, and I don't remember there being 80.
Yeah.
And when you dug into the map, there was a news story that came out like a couple days later it was one MSM publication like New York Times or something like that had published the first. Maybe it was even like a HuffPost. And then there was another publication that came out a couple days later and said, well, those numbers are misleading.
Really?
Because they weren't shootings necessarily in every one of those schools. It might have been some incident that they considered like, oh, there was a robbery that happened at the street corner that was within a school's visible distance. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that
so they were
school
including
zone.
that as well. Exactly.
Yes,
in the
you
school
can't
zone.
do that.
So, yeah.
Those aren't accurate numbers at all.
No, they weren't. And I couldn't imagine that I was like just so damned blind that I missed like 75 of the 80. Like, how did that happen?
What?
I'm like, wow, really? 80? Has there been that many?
No, there hasn't been that many.
All right, here.
And they may even be including like just people bringing like a weapon to school, like a butter knife or something, and say, "Oh, look, it's a shooting."
Or even less than that. I mean, what did we see? Like a chewed-off Pop-Tart? I wonder if that was involved.
Yeah, exactly.
A sawed-off Pop-Tart.
Oh my God.
Here's a little clip, and I think this one is Trafficant talking to Congress. I might have even have snipped this and put it as the break during Brandon's episode that ran Monday night. Though I normally I would play it with music if I had it open, but this whole computer, I don't know, it's like on syrup, so I've had to close just about everything. But you know what? I didn't see that there was no reason for Internet Explorer to be open, and that is a memory hog. So let me close, let me close, close, let me close. Oh, look, it won't let me close. So that could be part of the reason.
There you go.
Yeah, it's not letting me kill it, though.
Oh, I hate that.
Yeah. Oh, no. Oh, okay. There we go. Took 30 times. All right, here. So we'll listen to this one. This actually was great. I did not follow Trafficant very closely. I believe he called them out for many, many, many years, if I am not mistaken. And he actually was somebody that was officially coming out in the very beginning about 9/11. Am I not wrong? Am I wrong?
No, you're right. You're right.
Yeah, and, last night, the Geoengineering Watch episode that aired, that was from this past Saturday, I don't know if you guys all caught that, but Richard Gage was on with Dane Wigington. So I thought that was interesting. Now, that's the second time that Gage has been on UCY, because I believe that Chuck Ocelli had him on the Ocelli Effect as well. At least once. I know for the 9/11 anniversary, he was planning on getting him on again. I don't remember if he was on or not that night. So pretty cool, huh? Richard Gage has actually been on UCY a couple times on a few different shows. Yeah, so Trafficant was 73. Here we go. This is just a bunch of clips of him, I think, on C-SPAN speaking out, and they're all kind of strange clips, but it's just great because even listening to the Ron Paul stuff yesterday, and maybe we can find that because he was only on for a few minutes, but holy shit, AJ, sometimes he just blows a lot of hot air, but I gotta say, like, some of his guests are really great, and
oh yeah,
I haven't heard Ron Paul in a long time. When he bowed out ungracefully and all that weirdness happened, that was another one of those moments that made me go, huh?
Yeah.
I don't know what happened there. I'm assuming that they got threatened somehow, or that he was just kind of backing down so Rand had a chance. I don't know. But up until that point, even though I didn't think that Ron Paul had a chance in hell in getting elected, and even if he did, he didn't have a chance in hell in changing much of anything as one single guy standing on the top of a hill, it doesn't mean that I didn't like the stuff he was talking about.
True.
And Ron Paul called bullshit on a lot of stuff.
And he was reserved about 9/11 until these 28 pages have been released. Now,
yeah, we have not played that clip. There was a big clip on that came out about 2 weeks ago.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I never got there. So here, let me play this Trafficant anyway, because it's just great to hear somebody up in front of Congress. Now, actually, might have been I believe it was Brandon's guest. Oh, I don't remember his name. Please forgive me. But he's a congressional candidate, running in California who came out against GMOs. Excuse me, I got hiccups again. And he had talked about when you're standing up there. Sorry, I did take a drink of water. When you're standing up there, they only give you like 2 minutes. And so if you're trying to speak out about any of this stuff, because there's so much of a history behind it, you start to sound like a crazy if you talk about this stuff in only the 2 minutes that you're allotted.
Right.
Actually, I think it was the co-host that's on with Dane now, and he had run for office. That he was saying that yesterday.
Russ Tanner?
No, not Russ. They have They have another new guy on. I don't remember his name, but he's a former. He ran for Congress, and now he said they're going to have to kill him to shut him up, which I thought was pretty awesome. The co-host, I don't remember his name. I'll have to get his name, but he said that they only give you 2 minutes now, and so when you try to talk about any of the stuff, you start to sound crazy if you try to encapsulate it in a 2-minute little bubble.
Right.
So anyway, I think that with these clips, of course, this is CNN that put this together. I'm sure that was probably what they were trying to illustrate with some of this, but it's great. I was like, hell yeah! Be different. Speak your mind. Here we go. This is from C-SPAN.
Am I different? Yeah. Have I changed my pants? No. Deep down, you want to wear wider bottoms. You're just not secure enough to do it. And because of my big mouth, I have been targeted. But when you put somebody in jail for the rest of their life, he's a felon.
Uh-oh.
That was funny.
It's spinning. Hold on.
See, they have to put in the clips.
Congress. Who has been targeted, no less.
I don't know about you, but as a member of Congress, I heard about Iraq's invasion of Kuwait on CNN. In fact, I'll tell you, maybe I could spend some money with all this budget problem. Maybe we should cut the CIA's budget and give it to the CNN.
Tell me, after all these years, you mean to tell me our intelligence network cannot locate and infiltrate Osama bin Laden's organization?
Tonight I have dark pants on. Am I scared to death? No. I'll go to jail before I'll resign and admit to something I didn't do.
What really frosts my pumpkin, experts around the country say to solve the problem, Congress should give them more money. Beam me up. Schools do not need more money. Schools can use God.
I don't know what that was about, but that was pretty awesome.
They're just taking all the most outrageous clips and putting them all together. That's to make them sound as insane as possible.
Yeah, they did.
I hate CNN.
Yeah, but they're good for bullshit.
That's right. Problem is most people buy that bullshit. That's the problem.
Well, yeah, exactly. Somebody, by the way, Dave, whoever left a comment, says, Jimmy, you will greatly be missed. He was a straight shooter with a great sense of humor.
Oh, right on. Yeah, he really was a very colorful speaker. It was always very interesting watching him speak at Freedom Palooza. And you can find those on YouTube, by the way.
Yeah, on JJ's channel.
Yes.
Trying to see what else. If this would scroll any faster, I wouldn't have to sing. And I don't want to do the Jeopardy tune.
No.
Now, don't forget, too, Sirius going on, and I noticed one of the things that felt like right off the radar was the fact that, which I didn't realize he was a billionaire, but the billionaire that's now in charge of Ukraine came to the United States asking for our military to go to Ukraine to help protect them against the Russians that were lined up on their border.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah, can you believe that shit?
And guess what? We'll probably send troops over.
Yeah, I'm waiting for that. I'm definitely waiting for that. And this is just as, by the way, 3 million pilgrims flock to Mecca for Hajj, whichever that is.
That happening now?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, boy.
3 million pilgrims. Now I was like, hey, how close is Ebola to them?
Right.
These, of course, would be probably the very religious Muslims that, there's no reporter narration. The very religious Muslims that aren't radicals.
Right.
Get rid of all the good ones. Get rid of all the ones that try to do the right thing. I don't know. I mean, the whole pilgrimage is crazy. Last year they had that respiratory virus that was only the one that they blamed on camels. Do you remember that? It wasn't SARS.
Yeah.
It was something else.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this year they have Ebola now.
Oh my God! All they got to do is just send one person in, and then in amongst
typhoid.
All of
Yeah,
those...
typhoid Mary. 3 million pilgrims, man.
Imagine that.
And then take it all back to your home countries. Yeah, that's pretty scary.
Oh my gosh.
Definitely pretty scary. I just know when I saw that, like anywhere having 3 million people together at one time, I'd be avoiding that like the plague.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
That's a lot of people. Especially then, people who are coming in from all over the world. Think about that. And then getting onto planes and flying out. Yeah.
They're all spinning around a rock.
And not all of them are from the Middle East, by the way. These are Muslims from all over the world that go there.
World, exactly.
Yeah.
So if you put like some kind of like weird
typhoid
thing
Mary
that they spin around, I mean, it's gonna go right through that whole procession. Wow.
It's scary. It's very scary. And I will guarantee you they're not going to be blocking flights from Hajj. Is that what it's called? Hajj.
Oh, it's Mecca.
Yeah, we'll look it up. Here, we're going to play this clip about the first case now in Texas. Somebody that came back from Liberia, and apparently, I haven't listened to any of this yet, but my sources tell me that he wandered around for about a week, by the way.
What?
Yes, and he's now in Dallas in the hospital.
Oh, that's it. That's it.
A week.
We're done. We're done.
Yeah, a week. A week. All right, come on. ABC News.
Deadly Ebola outbreak in Africa, and tonight the first confirmed case here in America. The patient diagnosed here in the U.S. Tonight, a team from the CDC rushing to the scene. To this hospital in Dallas, where he is in isolation showing symptoms. It's believed he's been infectious for several days after returning from West Africa. This evening, the test results confirming it is Ebola. Tonight, word President Obama has been briefed, and now the all-out push to track down anyone who may have been in contact with him. In a moment, Dr. Richard Besser with what he's learning right now from his sources at the CDC. He spent many years there. Tonight, he has exclusive access face-to-face with patients battling it. But first, the case here at home and the questions. What about the planes this man took to America and the community where he was staying? ABC's Steve Osensami leading us off.
The CDC is confirming late today what doctors in this Dallas hospital feared, that the patient who walked into their emergency room Sunday with high fever and other symptoms is sick with Ebola, the first case diagnosed in this country.
I have no doubt that we will control this importation or this case of Ebola so that it does not spread widely.
Health officials today trying to calm fears.
We identify all people who may have had contact with the patient while he could have been infectious. And remember, Ebola does not spread from someone who's not infectious.
The doctors and nurses isolated the patient immediately. They say he left Liberia on the 19th, arrived stateside on the 20th, developed symptoms on the 24th, and walked into the hospital on the 26th, but was sent home. When he felt so sick and had to return on Sunday, he needed an ambulance. Tonight, they tell us he's strong enough to talk and is saying he's hungry. But compare this patient's story to the dramatic hospitalizations of the American patients diagnosed in Africa, flown into the country in specially outfitted planes, and walking into the hospital in protective suits. Doctors who treated them successfully say this patient's chances of beating the disease improved with round-the-clock care. Authorities aren't sharing too many details, but say that this patient was here visiting family. Tonight, they're watching every one of his relatives closely. David?
Steve Osunsami leading us off tonight, and I want to get right to ABC's chief medical editor, Dr. Richard Besser, who is in Liberia tonight, getting exclusive access to an Ebola ward. You can see images of Dr. Besser there suited up, walking through. He spent many years at the CDC himself here in America, and Rich joins me tonight. And Rich, the breaking headline at this hour, you've been in touch with your sources at the CDC. This patient had been home here in the U.S. for 7 days, now positive with Ebola. Is there real concern tonight about who this patient might have come in contact with?
There really is. The hospital will take care of this patient, but the key is finding every single person that the patient came in contact with during the period that they had symptoms. They'll track them, they'll follow them for 21 days. If any of them develop a fever, they'll go into isolation and they'll get tested.
So every person this patient came in contact with, they will now follow for 21 days. But Rich, this caught my eye. This patient had gone to the hospital, was sent home, and then went back to another hospital. Does that concern you that the signs appear to have been missed?
Well, that is concerning. Every hospital in America has been asked to be on high alert and to ask anyone coming in who's sick whether they've traveled. If they've traveled to West Africa and have symptoms, they're to be isolated and tested.
Rich, a lot of people are going to be thinking about the airplanes, the flights that this person took back to America. Is there reason for concern tonight for the other people who are on these planes?
Well, the good news for those passengers, you cannot transmit Ebola until you have symptoms. And the symptoms didn't develop until they arrived here. And then even when there's symptoms, it has to be contact with body fluids. So there's not a lot of concern there.
And Rich, just a few moments left. You spent
so they say.
Infectious disease with the CDC. How much does this concern you tonight now that we have a confirmed case here in the U.S.?
Well, it is concerning. We've talked about this possibility. It really reinforces the importance of everyone working together to stop this in West Africa so this doesn't keep happening.
All right, Dr. Richard Besser with us from Liberia tonight. Dr. Besser will have much more first thing in the morning on Good Morning America.
So this doesn't keep happening. What? That was like the understatement of the century.
I would say.
So this doesn't keep happening.
Well, everybody needs to mark in their brains October 1st, 2014.
This is the anniversary of my uncle dying many years ago.
Oh, my goodness.
October 1st, yeah.
Well, this is where it starts here.
Oh.
I mean, because that guy, so he went to one hospital, and look, they sent him home.
Yeah.
And then he comes back 2 days later. I mean,
to another hospital.
To another hospital. Oh my God.
I think he came in the ambulance. So all the ambulance workers, I'm sure you have to be quarantined. Why didn't they mention them? Wouldn't they have been the first responders who would have had some sort of contact with his bodily fluids?
And the triage nurse from the
so
other
did
hospital.
You hear them saying that? We've quarantined everyone who's had contact with them so far. No, they're looking for.
Right.
So, and I'll tell you, I don't know if I mentioned this at the beginning of the show or not. I know I was thinking it. Stephen King's The Stand. Guess where it started?
Mm-hmm.
In Texas.
Did it?
It sure did.
Ooh.
It got out of the CDC. The guy ran. He got his family. They traveled across the states, and they ran into a gas pump at a gas station in little old Podunk, Texas somewhere. Yep.
Here it goes.
That's
just
where it
like
happened.
Wow. Here we are, guys. I mean, we're at 12 Monkey stage now.
Oh, my God. That movie was one of my other all-time favorites.
Mm-hmm. And here it starts. Oh, my God.
Yeah. I think, you know what? It's going to be the easiest way. They don't want to come at us. Though, did you see? I was going to play something, but we're going to look at what a Hajj is. I just was looking really quick because there was another news story that I scrolled past, but there's another doctor that they brought back. Did you see that? With Ebola?
So that makes 4 or 5.
I believe this would be number 5 doctor, or at least care worker. And I had seen a story that we had read a while back that there were like a couple hundred that were dead already, care workers.
Right, yeah.
And I was all shocked. I'm like, where the hell did that number come from?
Oh, and the numbers are all fudged. So when you're saying couple hundred, you're saying almost 1,000. You know what I mean?
Well, we're at over 3, maybe closer to 4,000 dead already, they say, as far as official numbers. But there was a story that came out the other day that totally jacked up the potential numbers. Originally, it had been like 20,000, they said, cases could be, here in the near future. Then I saw another one that said 40. And then the other day, there was a clip that came out, Pigmine posted, saying that by January we could be up to 1.4 million cases.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like we went from 20,000 to 1.4 million?
That's right. So,
in like a span of 2 weeks, the numbers changed from CDC to MSM.
Yeah, there was one virologist that was predicting up to 5 million people.
Holy crap. And, we talked about it a few times, and, and it might have to be tomorrow, but I did have it up last week and then never got to it, was to read that story again from that science publication out of Australia that I had that had said that when they looked at this new quote-unquote strain that's coming out, that they discovered it was mutating like 300 times between hosts, never before seen.
Yeah, and how is that possible? Never before seen.
And not be lab created.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, by the way, my cousin, I told you, she works for an international relief organization. And so the one night around the bonfire, I had kind of gotten into this a little bit before I was henpecked and squashed by the matriarchs of the family. And I had told her that we were watching an infographic about the bats and that I found it really hard to believe that fruit bats, number one, were responsible for Ebola all of a sudden out of the blue. And then two, that infographic had said that bats were immune to everything and they were like typhoid Marys for all these diseases. And that, again, was the first time I had ever heard anything like that. So she had a friend who she's known for many years who works with Ebola outbreaks. So she was going to talk to her and see what she knew about the whole bat component in this. Because I told my cousin, I was like, is that just like Johnny-come-lately science that we discovered or we put out there to stop people from freaking, or is that like real fact? And if that's real fact, why is the first time ever, it's not like Ebola just appeared, why is this the first time ever we've ever heard about this since we all have bats all over?
Exactly.
We used to before the bats all started dying from this white nose disease that they don't seem to be immune to, even though they're immune to everything else.
Right. It's kind of like monkey AIDS.
Mm-hmm. Something just like that. Exactly. And, I had read a story over the weekend about Ebola, and I don't know if I posted it or not, and it was an actual story, it wasn't a clip, that had actually said that bats was like on the bottom of the list. They had listed other things like orangutans and cheetahs, or I don't know. There were like this whole list of animals, and I was like, what? Where did these animals ever come into play as spreading Ebola? It's the first I've ever seen this. So I don't know. That's what made me actually think about the bat story to ask her about it.
Yeah, it's a good.
Because we just pulled
question.
like 12 more animals out of a hat now to say that they potentially could be spreading it.
Yeah, exactly.
Though she did mention that her personal thought, just from having been in a lot of these countries over the years, would be that they have a lot of farm animals that are also somewhat like pets. And because there's so much corruption and crime in these countries, they don't necessarily leave those animals outside at night. They sleep with them in the house.
Whoa.
Because, how else are you going to stop them from getting stolen?
Yeah, that's true. Or getting bit by a bat.
Or bitten by a bat, right. So I want to take a quick look here at this Hajj. Couple million pilgrims, if it even lets me search it on Google again.
Uh-oh.
I had a Wikipedia entry, but I want to actually see what the... oh, look, the letter E doesn't type on my keyboard. Oh, there we are. I just want to see what the latest news is on Hajj Mecca. Oh, so other publications spell it H-A-J-J. Some spell it just H-A-J. Oh, yeah, Wikipedia is H-A-J-J, too. Let's see. So it appears it's Saudi Arabia. Now, doesn't Saudi Arabia have a finger pointed at it as being one of the financiers of the whole ISIS conundrum that we're under right now?
And the whole 9/11 thing, too.
Yes, and you are absolutely correct.
Mm-hmm.
And that was one of the reasons why Dane had Richard Gage on Geoengineering Watch, was just because of the fact that 9/11 is really what kind of was the bowling ball that hit the pins, or the cue ball that hit the rack.
Yes. Good analogy there.
Oh, wow. I wish I could play this. The rights of Hajj explained in 6 minutes. I don't think we have 6 minutes. Every year it continues to grow. Saudi Arabian authorities have stepped up safety and security measures. I heard a story the other day that they were screening all of the pilgrims, like asking them where they'd been, taking their temperatures.
Oh, interesting. Boy, Saudi Arabia doesn't want Ebola on their shores, I guess.
Well, or do they? Like, maybe don't have Ebola on our shores, but on the way home, take it back with you. But you don't think that they don't make like major bank with tourism dollars?
Oh, heck yeah.
Oh, here we go. Actually, here we're going to back up because here's that doctor in the National Institute of Health Isolation Unit with Ebola as well. A new one brought to the U.S. shores, which that didn't get a lot of press, did it?
No, because it's par for the course now.
Right. It's all been normalized. Oh, okay, we're bringing doctors back. He's from Sierra Leone, by the way.
Jeez.
And he's being watched. Come on, let's go. Doesn't tell me what city, though, in the notes. National Institute of Health, is that in Maryland? I don't know, I'm guessing.
Yeah, we haven't had one east yet.
Yeah.
The National Institutes of Health is caring for an American doctor exposed to the Ebola virus while volunteering in Sierra Leone. He was flown from West Africa and landed at a regional airport north of Washington Sunday afternoon. The physician does not have the deadly disease and may not get it, but will be under observation in this isolation unit in a hospital on NIH's Bethesda, Maryland campus. The agency says he'll stay in a room like this out of an abundance of caution. The outbreak has killed more than 3,000 people in West Africa. 3 of 4 other Americans who did have Ebola and were transported home are now out of hospitals in Nebraska and Georgia. The 4th remains hospitalized.
Oh.
Sharp, Associated Press.
I didn't know the 4th remained hospitalized, so that's a new little niblet, huh?
Pay attention to where these people are going on the map, people. They're going to all 4 points of the country.
I know. All right, so I guess the last piece of news in the last minute that we have is something that a friend brought up to me, and I had read about the new 2015 vehicles, but I had not read about this part with the engine. So talk about like Agenda 21. You look at these Google cars, you look at the whole carbon taxation and global warming, the Chicken Little stories that are coming out everywhere. Well, guys, an icon has been freaking stabbed in the heart, and that is the Mustang. They were coming out with the Mustang anniversary model. I don't know if it was the 40 or the 50th year model, but it was going back to like old school ways. But they put out a model with a 4-cylinder EcoBoost engine.
Screw that.
And wait, even the worst part, because the engine is wimpy on its engine noise, they're doing simulated engine noise through the stereo.
What?
Wah, 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 wah.
Oh my, that is not a Mustang.
All right, guys, thank you so much, Wendy, for being on. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Everyone, stick around. We got live radio tonight. Josh is on at 6 o'clock, and the continual condition comes on after him at 8. The Truther Girls are going to be on after that, and then Anti-Media Radio live at 11. All right, guys, I will catch you guys